Good people of YouTube, welcome back to the Voden Vlogs. It's hot outside. Let's get straight into it. Inside, see you guys inside for some poker. So getting right into the session is a 2-5-10 no limit hold'em. As you can see from the screen, we buy in for 3K. There was no seat available in the 1-3, so we're just gonna play 2-5-10 with some of our good buddies here. I'm leaving this following clip in as we play the Queen 8 of Hearts in this next hand, just to foreshadow a future hand.
Voden Vlogs. He's vlogging?
Yeah, that's HV over there. So gonna foreshadow a future hand. In this one though, we're in the small blind. Button makes it $30. We're the only person that calls in the small blind. And heads up to a flop, which comes King 6-3 all hearts. We flop the second nut flush. We go ahead and check the button C bets for $25. We're gonna go ahead and check raise here to $55. I'm raising all my one heart hands, King X's and 2 pairs. So I think this is fine here. We want to get more money in the middle, especially playing deep here. And unfortunately the button folds. So as you can see from this clip, we are playing the nit game. If you don't know how it works, basically if you're the last person to show a winning hand or even bluff, then you will owe a nit tax in the form of a splash pot to the table. So you will lose $200 if you're the last person to get rid of your nit button. In this hand, this is the foreshadowed hand. We have ace king offsuit under the gun. Low jack makes it $30. The hijack calls and we go ahead and 3-bet to $150. The low jack now folds and the hijack calls. So pretty interesting start to this hand. Flop comes King Jack 3 rainbow. We flop top. We go ahead and c-bet, down betting for $100, charging all the Jack X as well as other King X hands. And the hijack now calls. Turns the beautiful King of Diamonds. So we have trips with top kicker. We now go ahead and go for $280. We don't have to go too big here because we want to continue charging all Jack X's as well as getting value from King X's, of course. And the hijack calls once again. The river is the ace of diamonds. So if he had backdoor diamonds here or Queen 10, this is a gin card for us as we fill up with the effective nuts basically. We go ahead and overbet polarizing for $1,600. I thought he had more, and obviously we're 3K effective, but he actually only has 1650, so only 1650 effective, a lot less than I thought we were effective, and he ends up tanking for a really long time, talking about how Jacks is the only hand that makes sense because he blocks all other hands, which means he probably has something like King Queen or King 10, probably with the 10 or Queen of Diamonds as well. So this is obviously HV. He wanted to make the vlog, and he does make the vlog. I'm making the call, and we're gonna scoop a pretty sizable pot to start off the session. In the next hand of note, we look down at pocket jacks. In the cutoff, the hijack opens for $30. We go ahead and 3-bet to $90, and all players fold, so nice little pot to take down as well here. Looking down at this one, we have 10-9 of diamonds in the +1. We go ahead and lead out for $30. The button, big blind, and under the gun all call. 4 players to flop now, which comes King 8-3, 2 spades and a heart. Big blind, under the gun check. We're going to go ahead and c-bet range here. So we go for $55. The button calls and the rest of the players fold. Turns a 5 of clubs. Doesn't give us any more equity. A card we would want to continue c-betting on and bluffing. Semi-bluffing would be like a 7 or a jack. But here we're just going to check it and the button checks back as well. River's the ace of hearts. So now we can represent this card given that we bet checked the flop and turn. So we have a lot of ace X's here that would have c-bet flop and check turn. We go ahead and go for $190, a little bit more than 3/4 of the pot. The button folds. He's going to have a lot of weak kings and miss spades when he checks turn, so we can easily rep the ace here and take this pot down. The next hand is a $200 splash pot, given that someone lost the nit game. We go ahead and call a $100 open with pocket sixes in the big blind, as well as 2 other people. King 5-4 on the flop. No good for us. It's crazy because it's a exploded pot in this 2-5-10 game, $600. As we're just checking through, queen on the turn, I check, under the gun bets $280. The opener folds, and next act raises to $750 and takes that one down. So pretty juicy pot, given that the Nick game bloats a lot of the pots pre-flop. Something about Queen 8 of Hearts is just working out for us, so we're going to play it again here in the big blind. When the +2 opens at $30, we call and under the gun calls. 3 players to the flop, which comes Ace, Queen, 4, 2 spades, and a club. We flop middle pair. It checks with the +2, who c-bets $30. We obviously are going to call. With middle pair, hard to flop a pair in hold'em. Under the gun folds, so heads up to the turn, which is the deuce of spades. I check, and now the +2 checks, which is great for us. We have showdown. The river now brings the queen of diamonds, and ace would usually bet on the turn and continue to go for value, but we're just going to go ahead and lead out here. We don't want it to check back, so we go ahead and bet $65. Not too big, trying to charge pocket pairs as well, and ace x that would weirdly maybe check the turn, and the +2 folds. So unfortunate result there. And yeah, this is just some footage about how big the pots can get here in this 2-5-10. That is a bet of almost $1,700 you see there from seat 1. So juicy action here at TCH Houston. Here's a nice little B-roll shot of our stack for you guys as we start up another Nick game. And the next hand we have King Jack of spades in the big blind. The low jack opens for $30. Button calls. We can sometimes 3-bet this hand, especially out of position, but we're just going to like to call here, and the under the gun calls as well. 4 players now to a flop, which comes King, Jack, 7, all diamonds. So flop top 2 pair, but on a very wet board. We go ahead and check, and it checks around to the button, who now bets $40. We obviously have a call here. We don't want to check raise. We're only going to get called by better, being flop diamonds, and maybe set sometimes, like set of 7. So we just have an easy call here, and the rest of the players fold. Turns to 3 of spades, and we now check once again, try to pot control, and we want the button to continue bluffing if he has any single diamond, as well as draws like 10-9 or 8-9, or Queen 10 as well. So we just go ahead and call, keeping his bluff range in, and we don't want to raise. Like I said, we're just going to fold out his bluffs and only going to get called by better, being flop diamonds. So we call, and the river is a 6 of hearts. We check once again, and the button now bets $325. So stupid spot here. Like I said, we want to keep his bluffs in, and if he was betting with a better hand, it is what it is. So we go ahead and make the call, and the button shows ace deuce of diamonds. So as well played as we could have, and losing the minimum in this spot while still remaining some equity, trying to fill up obviously. So it is what it is, and our stack dwindles after this one.
No. So it depends, like, he does the
Oh my god.
This is a pretty stupid one. We have deuce 9 of diamonds, under the gun +1, and we're heads up in the Nick game. You're probably wondering, why are we playing this? Well, I don't want to lose a Nick game. I don't want to lose $200, so I go ahead and open for $30. I want to give myself a chance to not lose $200, and we don't have to risk, obviously, our stack. So the other player in the game, the Nick game calls, and the +2, the button calls, and the rest of the players fold. 3 players to flop now, which comes 8, 6, 4, 2 clubs and a spade. This is not a good board for my range, and I don't have any equity except backdoor straights. So we go ahead and check it. The +2 checks as well. The button bets $40. We go ahead and fold, and the +2 calls. The +2 ends up winning with 3-4 on an 8-9 run out, so I end up losing in the game and have to pay the $200 tax. And after paying my NIT tax of $200, I have ace-10 offsuit and under the gun, and this is what happens in this $200 splash pot. 2 limpers, button makes it 200, big blind jams for 2.5K. Obviously fold, and the button ends up tank folding, so sick action here. Last hand of note here, we have pocket 10s in the +2. We go ahead and open for $35, the hijack and big blind call. Flop comes King 7-5 rainbow. We go ahead and c-bet range for $65. The hijack calls, and the big blind folds. Turns the ace of diamonds, so 2 overs on this board with our pocket 10s. Not feeling so great, so we just elect to check it here, and the hijack bets $150, which means we have to fold and get out of the way. And like I said, a pretty short session with some pretty memorable hands, and we will go ahead and rack up and see what we ended up for this session. So that was a pretty quick session at 2CH Westheimer right here. Amazing spot always to play with the guys. 2-5. Wasn't planning on playing 2-5 today, but walked in. There's no seat at the 1-3, so he said, fuck it, let's play the 2-5. Yeah, 2CH Westheimer right there. And in the game for 3K, out of the game for 44.65, so profit of $1,465. Just a really quick session. Some pretty cool hands, interesting hands. Obviously, Ace King was a huge one for us, and then the rest of them were so-so, pretty standard, I feel like. But yeah, lost in the game, and I was unfortunate to lose 200 in that spot, but is what it is. If you guys like this video and enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons. It helps the channel a lot, and it helps our videos pop up in the algorithm and everything. So thanks for following as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.